All right, welcome, Vanagon Addicts. This is Ken Wilford here at Vanagon. Starting our live at 5 live stream here. Hope you guys are out there. So far, I'm seeing 0 viewers, so hopefully that'll get better as time is going on. Hope you guys had a great 4th of July. Got to spend some time with your family and went out and enjoyed your van. I know some of you guys were messaging me saying that you had some different issues going on physically or whatever. So I'm sorry to hear that. But hopefully you guys got a chance to enjoy your Vanagon and got to get out there and see some of the world. I know one of my friends right now, a guy I've known for a long time, his name is Mark Drillock. He's part of the Vanagon mailing list. And if you guys go on Vanagon.com, you can sign up for that. But anyway, Mark is over in Europe right now, and he's been driving his Vanagon all around Europe and different places and just having a great time with it this summer. Last summer, he went out there and went to go pick the van up after it sat all winter, and he had head gasket issues, and he had to partially rebuild the engine and all kinds of stuff just from setting. I think one of the things had cracked or something from, like, maybe it had some water in there. The coolant level was low. I can't remember. So anyway, stuff happens, but how you deal with it, right? That's the important part. So if anybody's out there, I see it says about 7 people right now. If you want to say hi, and we can say hi back to you guys. I got a few things to talk about today, not a whole lot, so we'll see how much time we wind up doing today. But I definitely appreciate you guys. During this week, people have been purchasing parts. They've been telling me, thanks a lot for doing the video. So we're going to keep trying to do it. And, as long as you guys want me to do it, I will continue to do it. Okay. Let me go ahead and start talking about some stuff, and then you guys can chime in. I had one guy that was calling me right before the live stream that was, we were talking about his radiator fan not working properly. And so if he's on here, he can ask some questions about that. We'll talk to him about that in the live stream. All right, let me go over here. Today I wanted to talk about gas tank leaks for a few minutes. Okay, gas tank leaks and the fact that they are not supposed to be normal. Okay, so a lot of people, they come here and they complain about their gas tank is leaking. They said, listen, I've just decided I don't fill it all the way up and it's fine, and so I'm just living with it. And the problem is that if you have a gas tank leak, most likely there's a reason that could be causing you problems in the future. So your gas tank is supposed to be completely sealed. It's not supposed to leak, especially when you fill it up and you get to the top. And a lot of times you'll have this kind of like Niagara Falls thing happening where all this gas is rushing all over the ground. I've even seen sometimes here in New Jersey, we have people pump for us. And the pump people get all crazy and excited about it. And I can kind of understand why. I mean, gasoline is extremely, volatile. You could have a fire. You could burn your gas station down when people have gas leaks. So what causes gas tank leaks, you might ask? You haven't, but I will answer your rhetorical question that you didn't ask. All right. Most of the time, it is this piece right here. This is a gas tank crossover pipe. Pipe goes on top of the gas tank, and it just sits down in there. And this thing is supposed to equalize the pressure, okay, between the two sides. And what can happen is over time, one of these little nylon pieces breaks, and it'll leak right there. So when you fill it all the way up to the very, very top, gas is just pouring out of here, okay? A lot of times you can find this, if this is your culprit, you can just reach your hand in through the wheel well on the driver's side and just kind of feel on top of the tank. In the wheel well, on the 2-wheel drives, there's a plastic tank in the wheel well, and there's some lines coming from it into this. So you just kind of trace those lines to this, try to feel it, and you'll feel, oh, it's broken. Sometimes I'll go to the gas station and fill it all the way up and just see where it's leaking from. If it's leaking on the driver's side, leaking on the passenger side, Sometimes it's not leaking from this piece. You'll have it leaking from the line that goes to this. The original line was like a braided line, and they'll get dry rotted, and then it'll just kind of seep through the line. So we actually, in our kits, we've changed from the braided line to a smooth line. This is actually made by a company called Flenner, which is a German company, and it can deal with any fuel. So like one of the problems people were running into was with the ethanol fuel. If you're the vapor, okay, so the vapor from the ethanol fuel is, of course, has ethanol in it, and the ethanol is reacting to the rubber, makes the rubber dry out, and it's cracking, and then it leaks like crazy. So the Flenner line that we're selling in our gas tank kits now, we've been selling them in our kits for probably a year now. That fixes that problem, because this line, it actually has an inner sleeve. It's hard to see in here, but it's like a little hard plastic sleeve in here. And so the ethanol isn't actually reaching the rubber. It's actually in this plastic sleeve inside the rubber. And like I said, this fuel line is actually made for gas or diesel or even like E85 ethanol. I wouldn't recommend running that in your Vanagon. So, you know, when you buy your gas tank, we have all these parts available. These are the grommets on top of the gas tank. Okay, this is the line, just a little short piece I put on there for display purposes only. This is the crossover pipe. Okay, then you have your filler neck grommet. Okay, there's actually two different sizes. Woo. This one is for the early vans. 80 to 84 had a metal filler neck and had this larger, I think they say it's a 70 millimeter filler neck grommet. And then later on, from 84 to 91, they had a plastic filler neck, and that was smaller, and that's what this one's for. Okay, we have both of them available all the time. So, you know, we can basically help you out. Like, my recommendation is make sure your gas tank does not leak. Not only is it inconvenient, it's dangerous, okay, and you can also be getting in, like, dust and water from the atmosphere. Okay, so you're driving down the road, it's raining. Okay, ethanol gas is very absorbs water, because, you know, alcohol absorbs water like crazy, and so ethanol gas will absorb the water out of the atmosphere into your gas tank. Sometimes it'll come in through one of these broken deals here. The water's like splashing up and getting into that. Sometimes, I got one of these things here too, actually. If I can get it, it's trapped. Okay. Sometimes it comes through this deal. These are in the wheel wells. If you look up in there in the front wheel wells, these are our gas tank. They're expansion tanks. Okay. And you'll see on the top of this one, there is a grommet and a plastic rollover valve is what they call it. A lot of times the valves are okay. They're plastic and whatever, but this grommet dries out. See how dried out this one is? They'll dry out, they'll shrink. Sometimes they'll just evaporate because of the ethanol probably ate them up. And since it's right in your wheel well, so as you're driving down the road, the water is splashing all around. It gets up on here and goes in this, okay? Road dirt, whoosh, goes in this. We have those grommets as well. I think they're like $7 on the site. You know, all this stuff. Our gas tank kits for like a two-wheel drive van, later model, 86 or 84 and on with the smaller thing is like $100. The one with the bigger one is $110. And, you know, it's just cheap insurance against destroying your gas tank, right, with rust or dust or whatever. Okay, when you go to the gas station, you don't have to worry about your van is marking its spot and going to burn the place down to the ground. That's always good that doesn't happen. And then it comes with, so our kit comes with, you know, all the grommets. It comes with some clamps. You can clamp stuff together. Fuel line, enough to do everything. I mean, basically, it's whatever you need to do it. to fix it. Now, the only thing it doesn't provide for is if your gas tank actually has rust holes on the top. Then you need a new gas tank. We have them as well. They're on the website. I think $200, $250 for a new gas tank. So, you know, that's my recommendation. You guys are, a lot of you guys are listening to this and you're saying, yep, my gas tank leaks like crazy. Some of you guys just got your vans, haven't even drove it yet. The first drive I do is go to the gas station, fill it completely to the top, and 9 times out of 10, because it's been sitting for a while, gas tank leaks. Okay, so you can reseal it with this. I have a write-up on the site about how to do it, and it's not really that hard. It just takes a little effort. Okay, so don't get scared. Read that, see what you think, and we can go from there. All right, do we have any comments?
Everybody was saying hi. The Texas boys are watching. So
Texas boys.
And SD Rooter is back. He says, I replaced my crossover tube with a larger hydraulic/fuel rated line. Got it from a local trucking supplier. Extra 6. Is that a foot or an inch? It's like the quotation marks.
Extra 6 inches or something.
Extra 6 quotation marks
inches.
long.
Yep.
Okay, inches. I thought it was foot. Which made it way easier to hang the line on that hook above.
Yeah, it can be a little pain to put that line in. I mean, I've did it like so many times. You have to put that plastic line in on a little hook, and then you put the tank up, and then you snap it together. And for whatever reason, I guess because right where, like you see in this line, there's like this indentation thing right here. You know, you have to put that to the side, to the driver's side, because there's actually the brake cable is going right under here, like the e-brake cable. So if you're not careful, like say you put it under that, okay, now every time you move the e-brake, you're doing like this number on it with a hacksaw, which is the e-brake cable. You're not going to mess up the e-brake cable, but probably like not too nice for this. So, you know, that's why they have this hook up there. You hook it on there. And most of the time, I don't really have much problems. You have to, once you get the gas back up, you go back in, you pop these 2 in. Now, I have these on here, but you want to take these grommets off. You put them in the gas tank, and then you put Vaseline on it, and you push this in. Okay, so that's kind of that secret. So don't try to put it in like this. These are just for when I ship it. I leave these on here. But, you know, because it will never go in. But if you put the grommet in the tank first and then push this in, you'll be all right. Okay. Anything else?
Aside from that, it's just everybody saying hi.
Everybody saying
somebody was like, says watching from Nova Scotia.
Okay, yeah, that's probably this guy, I think Bruce, that had texted me right before the thing. So that's cool. Bruce wants me to do some kind of propane walkthrough. So he's got a nice van that still has this blue plastic on the stove, which I've seen that lots of times over the years. It's kind of funny about the stoves. You know, when you guys have the Westy stove, there's like this stainless steel thing, splash guard, and you can pop it down, right? Well, it's supposed to be for washing your dishes. And then you wash the dishes, you set this thing on top of the stove, it pops down, you put the dishes on there to dry, okay? But occasionally I'll have people come in, they think it's a grill. And they're going to grill. I'm going to grill me some hamburgers now, boy. And they put some hamburgers on there, and they're grilling them up, and that whole thing is going like this and turning black and doing all kinds of messed up stuff. It's not a grill, guys. That is your draining board for washing dishes. All right. So, and if you're going to do anything with it, definitely take the blue stuff off before you do it, because I think one guy had left the blue plastic on and then tried to use it as a grill, and that was turned into a super nightmare because it was like burnt on there and stuff. All right, so do we have any other questions, guys? You can ask questions while we're talking, and then I'll deal with them as soon as we get done. I got another thing right here. Let me see if I can just point to it, because it's kind of a pain in the butt. See that right there, that silver looking deal? That is the long stainless steel pipes under your van, and that is also something you should be looking at, because I'll tell you what's going on with that. If you have a later van like 86 and 91, you have plastic pipes, and on the end is metal little pieces like this, and they're embedded into the plastic. And then as your age and things are happening, what happens is those metal end pieces decide they don't like living in the plastic pipes no more. They want to go out and see the world. And so they start like peeking their little heads out. They want to see the world. And one day while you're driving down the road, they go, I'm ready to leave. And they shoot out like a cork out of the end of a bottle, and all your antifreeze goes out in about 30 seconds. It's like somebody chopping your jugular vein of your neck, and it just shoots out of there, and it can wreck your motor. Okay, and this happens a lot. I will tell you how you can most likely know that it is happening or is trying to happen. If you look at your spare tire in the front, and you look just behind it about maybe like this far, you're going to see where the end of those pipes are. Okay, so you just look up there from, you don't have to like get it on a lift or none of that stuff. You just look up there with a flashlight, and you'll see the end of the pipes because you'll see these two big coolant hoses coming on there. And a lot of times when you look there, you will see that people have put 2 clamps on there. That means it's been having problems. They've trying to make it stop. You will see hanging drops on there of antifreeze. And, you know, that is also an indication that the ends of those plastic pipes are just like crumbling. They're disintegrating. The metal piece is trying to migrate out and go into the world. Go Westy sells a kit to fix it, which makes no sense to me whatsoever. It's basically like you put this metal piece in a hose, and then you shove it on there on top of the plastic piece, and that's supposed to keep the other metal piece from coming out. Like, how's that supposed to work? It would be like you put something on top of a cork, and then you shook up the bottle, and that was going to make the cork not pop out. I don't know how that's supposed to happen. But anyway, that was their idea. They sold a lot of those kits. Some of you folks may have bought those kits. I don't see how they would actually do anything. Some people say, yes, they do many things. But the best way to fix it is to replace those pipes with stainless steel. We have stainless steel ones here in stock. And they basically will last forever. They're very high-grade stainless. They're made in Europe. It's actually 2 pieces per pipe, so that's why you kind of see there's 4 pipes over there. And see, I got it balanced right there, so I don't want to touch it. It's going to fall over. And so, you know, you got these 2, each pipe is in 2 pieces. That is to help you be able to ship it, okay? And when you go to put it together, it's easier, okay? And you can put them, the ones we sell, you can take the old ones out without taking the gas tank out. Of course, if you're going to do the gas tank anyway, it's a good time to do this. Okay, because it's actually a little bit easier with the gas tank out. You can see everything. But if you don't want to take the gas tank out, you can not do that with ours. Now, I know Rocky Mountain Westy, they sell them. You have to take the gas tank out. Maybe Go Westy does too, because I think actually they sell, Rocky Mountain Westy actually makes their pipes. But whatever. Okay, the ones I like are the ones where you don't have to take the gas tank out if you don't want to. These ones you do not. You put the front pipes in, and then right behind the gas tank, about this far, there's a rubber hose that goes on. And then this back half of the pipes go on. And it's just pretty easy to install. It takes me probably about 2 hours to do it. The only part that's no fun is taking a nice antifreeze bath on your floor of your garage. I mean, some people might enjoy that. But some people enjoy rubbing mud on their face and stuff too. So I don't know about that. And maybe it could be good for beautification. That's why I'm so beautiful. I've bathed in antifreeze for many, many years. And now, see, look what happened. All right, so so I would definitely recommend, if you haven't inspected it, okay, definitely inspect your pipes, see what you got. And then, you know, if you are worried about it, I would give us a call. You know, here's a story from me. I was driving up to a Volkswagen show in Pennsylvania. I haven't been to one in a while because every time I go to a Volkswagen show, something bad happens to my Vanagon on the way there or the way back. So this time I was going to a Volkswagen show. I think we were on the way back, and the end of this pipe popped out. So thankfully, I pulled over immediately, shut it off immediately because I'm like, I don't know what happened. And the end of this metal piece was stuck in the hose, and the hose was laying under the van, under there, was still hooked up at the radiator. So I took that stupid metal piece, I pounded it back into the end of the plastic pipe with a hammer, and double clamped it with some extra clamps I had, and it made it back, and put antifreeze in it, I think, and it made it back home. Everything was fine. And then I had to replace the pipes with this. Okay, you don't want to experience that. That was no fun. I'm like, oh, that was great. I loved it after a nice day at the show, and then that happens. No. Okay, so definitely, if it's put it on your list. Okay, gas tank reseal put that on the list. Check your coolant pipes, definitely the long ones that go underneath, because even if you got a Subaru, anything, this is something you still need. Okay, Subaru magic wand, bling, doesn't make this go away. All right.
Somebody that their username is the word inorganic twice.
Okay, inorganic.
Yeah. Can you please let me know if there's a way to change synchro fuel lines, parentheses, filter, engine sender, without dropping tranny? Lots of love from Portland.
Okay, short answer is no. Long answer is Okay, I'm sorry, man. Synchro is always more of a pain. Okay, so if you're a synchro owner, prepare to suffer for your art. There's no way to get to those lines. You could cut a hole through your floor above it with a hacksaw, with a sawzall, and then you would see some of it. But I wouldn't recommend that. It's like a terrible idea. Then how are you going to put the floor back, right? So the best thing to do is, most likely wait until you need a transmission, which for the synchro is not that uncommon. Or you need the transmission to come out for some kind of a leak or something. And then you can pull the transmission and the motor out as a unit. That's the best way to do that. And then you pull the gas tank out. And then you see the gas tank straps are terrible, so you buy them from me. And then we also have a kit for the synchro gas tank. Buy that. And also do a kit for the motor lines as well, which is actually separate from the gas tank, but they run on top of the gas tank, and then you're good. But yeah, it's like a super big pain, and there's no real way to not have that pain. So I'm sorry, I feel your pain. I have been under synchros, taking the gas tank out, all the dirt from 30 years is falling in my eyes and blinding me. It's no fun.
Wow. So the same person said, heard of folks attaching old lines to new lines and fishing them through.
Yeah.
And then somebody else, Minx made, don't ever talk about a synchro training going bad. I'm having mosquitoes in mine.
Okay. I mean, they had problems at about 150. They had a messed up synchro slider hub, and it would crack because it had these sharp edges that were made into it. It was like it was kind of like a defect, a design defect. And so usually all the manual transmissions go bad between 125 and 150. You'll start having weird problems where it doesn't like going in third, doesn't like coming out of third, doesn't like going in fourth. Sometimes it's first gear for some weird reason, but usually it's third or fourth gear. And so you got to have it rebuilt at some point. I actually prefer the automatics. I know that's probably like blasphemy or something, but I do prefer them because they usually go 200,000 miles. Now, to say all that, the manuals are getting easier to rebuild because they're making all the parts for them, and the automatics are getting harder because they're not making some of the parts. So anyway, all right, so about the fishing line deal thing, that ain't gonna work. Okay, that's my short answer for that. That ain't gonna work. Okay, sorry. It's just because of how it's routed in there, and then also it's not gonna replace your gas tank lines, which you definitely want to do too. And yeah, there's no way to do them without taking the gas tank out. Okay.
It's funny, Minx man was like, Lynn has a bad opinion.
Sorry.
We're not downing anyone's opinion.
I'm not downing your opinion. You guys, no problems. Everybody can have different opinions.
Everyone has their own opinion.
This is all my own opinions,
Three
and
opinions.
just like socks, right? Everybody's got two, and they both stink. So, me, including me. All right, what's next?
Said the same person said, "Great stream, Ken. The filler tank is NLA now."
The filler tank
Yes,
for his gas tank, you mean? Is he talking about the gas tank filler?
It's
Or
NLA.
what are you talking about? You're not talking about this. Oh, sorry. Which we're having made, but whatever. I'm not going to mention that.
What even is
Don't
that?
pay attention to that part. All right.
Filler tank tube. Sorry for saying.
The filler tank.
Okay.
Yeah, the filler tank. I actually have one sitting over here on the shelf. And I've been trying to get somebody to make it. It was weird because he's talking about the Synchro filler tank tube, I think. There was a company in Europe that was making them out of stainless steel. And I've ordered them a few times, and they would you go to this website. I think it was like Nodder.com or something. It's a German site. Like, yes, we have this part in stock. The green little emblem is next to it. And then you order, and like, we do not have it in stock. It does not exist in real life.
We also apparently sound like we are from Terminator.
Yes, we will terminate your Synchro filler tube, human. All right, so I have an old one here. I was going to try to get it reproduced. So far, I haven't had much luck. I will keep you updated. Hopefully, I'll find somebody that has basic tube bending skills that can make one.
Inorganic was like, I appreciate the honesty and opinion. Parentheses, this live stream is rad.
Okie doke. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it, and you enjoy my Terminator impression. Okay. What else we're going to talk about? That was actually the main stuff and things I was going to say today. I don't know. Did we talk about tune-ups yet? Because that's a thing I could talk about for a minute. Yeah. Well, hold on. Let me get some tune-up items over here. So people call me all the time, like, my Vanagons runs bad. And that's exactly how they sound, too. They're, like, crying. Tears are coming out. And, I say, have you ever changed the spark plugs? And then, like, hear cricket noises on the other end. There's no response because they didn't even think about it. Okay? So definitely think about it. Here's your new spark plug. It's so fancy and beautiful. And basically just take the old ones out, put in the new ones. They're already pre-gapped and everything. Some people swore by these NGK plugs for years and years. I was like, I'm definitely using Bosch. Until recently, Bosch decided they were no longer going to make them anymore. I don't know why. People want to give you money, and then you're saying, I'm not making your stupid spark plugs anymore. So, there. Okay, so NGK is, like, as far as I know, the only source for these right now. So I've been getting them. You definitely want to take this little deal off. I don't know why they insist on putting them on these. They actually will unscrew. If you have like a pair of pliers, they'll come off, and there's like a little threaded thing. That's what you need to go onto your plug wires. Okay, so if you're having like drivability issues, tune up. Okay, spark plugs, $2 a piece. Ooh, no, don't break the bank. Wilford, no, I will break the bank. You don't know how much banks have been broken. All right, so these, we got them on the site. Then you want a distributor cap, rotor, okay, air filter, fuel filter, oil filter, okay, just your basics. And then also plug wires, okay, we have them available as well. I mean, that's like the bare minimum stuff. You change all that stuff, guess what? The van will actually start running better. And then you might not have to call me with the tears coming down. Oh, my goodness. All right. You'd be like, call me back. My van's running great now. All right. So, and especially if you just bought it, you want like a baseline, right? We talked about expectations last week. If you don't have the service history, then you can begin that. Okay. So you start get a little book, notebook or something. Start writing stuff down. Okay, I got this van. Here's the mileage. Change the oil first thing, number one. 2050 oil with a German oil filter. Somebody just texted me before the live stream saying thanks for helping them get their oil pressure, or actually they were calling on the phone. Their oil pressure is under control because they had a Garbo Napa oil filter on. Now they switched to a black filter, man filter, and everything's doing better. Okay, so you change your oil filter, number one, because you have no clue how long the van's been setting. And then you do, like I said, your filters and do your tune-up. And you write it all in your little bookie poo. Say, dear diary, today I decided to change all my stuff. And it was beautiful and I love it. Okay, and you write it in there. And then the next time you change the oil, you write that in there. If you wonder how many miles it's been, you just look in there. And as you're doing that, you're starting your new service history for yourself. And then you start thinking about what needs to be fixed on this car. Just write it in there. Say, I wonder what's going on with the front end. Write that in there. I wonder what's happening with the shocks. Write that in there. And then you just look in there and you inspect it. You write it down. Looks good. And you write the date. You know, this looks good. That looks good. And as you're doing it, now you're inspecting it. You're looking, seeing it looks good. And you have more confidence in it. Okay, you're not going to be worried about what's happening. Because I know some people will do what they call closed eye maintenance. Do you know what closed eye maintenance is? Here's what it is. Everything's great. There's no problems. I don't see any problems here right now. Everything's fine. Am I on the road? I can't tell because my eyes are closed. That's their maintenance policy. In other words, it's not if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It is if I hear noises, I turn the radio up louder so that the noises are not audible any longer. Don't be like that. Instead, be proactive. Okay? Look at stuff. Go under the van. Look at, like I said, those pipes I was talking about. Look at that. Look at the fuel lines. Look at the gas tank things. Okay? That's how you don't have problems, because you go after them actively and try to make sure they don't happen.
Camp Runlock was saying, just read where the NKG gives a couple more HP on the dyno.
Okay. I believe you, Billy. You're the man. I give you a thumbs up.
And Donald Vett says how often to change out spark plug wires.
I would just look at them. Okay, let me get a set here real quick.
And someone else was like, can you change the plugs without changing the wires?
Yes, you can do that, yes. You don't have to change the wires every time. This is wires, ain't it? Or isn't it? I don't know. I have other ones. Oh, let me grab these. Are these? No, of course not. They're embarrassing me now. All right, this is it. All right, hold on. All right, we got stuff. Don't worry, people. Don't be scared. We have it. I just had to look for a second. So, this is what they look like. If you look back there, you see these things. It looks like a stethoscope from the doctor. Oh, okay. And it looks like this. You got these metal shields on here. I mean, basically, you just want to take a look at the wires. Sometimes people look at it at night. They wait till it gets dark, or in your dark garage. Okay, don't shut the door in the dark garage. Never mind about the garage. Do it outside, but wait till it gets dark. Okay, I don't want you guys to get asphyxiated. So these are what they look like. These little black wires, and then at the end they have these little silver thingy-madoodlers on there. This is like a shield. It keeps like the radio waves and things from the spark plugs from interfering with other things like your AM radio broadcast. I mean, everybody listens to AM radio, right? No, but it can also probably interfere with your ECU and stuff too, maybe. So they're shielded. And so a lot of times what I'll do is I'll look at this right here just to see, what does it look like? I mean, here's a new one. It's nice and shiny. It's all silvery and chromy looking things. But, I'll have vans come in here. It's all rusted to death. It looks like it's 1,000,000 years old. I say, well, that's old because it's all rusty and gross. So they get new ones. You want to watch the length of these. Like I said, if they have a spot where they've been rubbing against things, that could be a part where it's arcing. So you want to replace that. If you have any places where it's got rub spots on it, that's not good. Okay. And like I said, at night, if you open it up and you're running at night, you can sometimes see a little fireworks display going on under there where it's arcing. And that's not good. Okay. So That's my recommendation on the wires. In other words, you inspect them. If they look like they're pretty new and they look pretty nice and shiny and stuff, they're probably all right. You can test them with a meter too if you want, but just looking at them, usually you can tell if they look okay. If they look okay, they're fine. Okay. If you're having a running problem and you change everything else and it's still not running right, I would throw a set of these on there. They cost like $55, which is not cheap, but it's a cheaper than going to the mechanic to get him to troubleshoot it and say you need spark plug wires. Okay. All right. Anything else?
A couple. You said you can't find them much because your friend Billy. Billy said fuel pumps, Bosch or Petersburg.
I really like the Bosch ones better, to tell you the truth. Petersburg ones, they make a lot of racket. The Bosch ones sometimes make racket too, but I don't know, they seem to hold up better. And the weird part about the Petersburg ones is like they're actually smaller in diameter, and then they put this big foam piece around it to make it bigger so you can go in that clamp thing. That's a weird idea. I don't understand why they did that. And the prices are about the same. So I usually favor Bosch when it's at that point.
Yeah, and then Inorganic says, is it okay to use PFTE thread tape, parentheses, 1 rated for gas/oil on the oil drain plug?
Yeah, you should be okay. You just don't want to put so much on that it, like the only danger with using that kind of tape on there is if you put a lot on there and then when you go to tighten it on, it like kind of cuts a little strip of it and can get sucked into something. So you just want to do like maybe 2 wraps with that. I mean, this is the reality. You shouldn't need it, but I will tell you that many times I have did everything in my power, like put brand new threads and put brand new copper crush ring, and that stupid thing still has a little drip hanging on there. Just makes me so angry. I turn green and my shirt rips open, and I go get that little stuff and stick around there and shove it back in there, and then it doesn't leak, and then I turn back to my normal self, and I stop smashing stuff. So it's fine. Like I said, just a couple wraps. Don't get crazy. It should be enough to seal it.
Bruce Murray said, can you test the wires with a meter for continuity? And then Minxmaid said, yes, Bruce.
Yeah, you can check them for continuity, but that's actually not what you want. They need to be a certain resistance. It's in the Bentley manual at 12,000 ohms or something. I think it's actually even on the thing. They want to be a certain resistance because it's not like a normal wire. It's actually got like some kind of carbon filament or something in there. And it has to have a certain amount of resistance in order to make the spark, properly. So if you check it with a meter, you're looking for resistance, and it should be like whatever it says. It might even say on the little metal shield like 12K ohms or something. If it's not in that range and the Bentley has a range for it, then it's still bad, even if it has continuity.
Yeah, they were saying they actually think it was resistance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Inorganic was like
So you guys be smart.
Inorganic was like the same experience except transforming to the Hulk. Like I guess mine is that.
Oh, okay, same anger. Yeah, I hate that so bad. I mean, I have built these brand new rebuilt engines for people, and everything is perfect, and then that stupid little thing is dripping, and you're like, why? Why is that happening? I don't know. The aluminum engines just seems like they're porous or something, and sometimes you just have this stupid little leaks.
Hack Owl says, should I have a spare ECM on hand?
I would say if you have the later models, like a 2.1 liter that's for 86 to 91, yes. Okay, unless we have rebuilt ones. And they're really good. You shouldn't need a spare one if you have one of those. If you don't have one of those and you just want to pick up like a good used one, I mean, it's cheap insurance again. Sometimes you can get a good used one for like $100 or something. You want to just test it, make sure it actually works. Maybe put it in there and just drive around for a while with it. Make sure it works good and have your old one as a spare. But if you're taking a long trip, yeah, the ECUs are notorious sometimes about heat. They don't like heat, and they will, if they're gonna fry, they will basically crap out on you. I sold a Synchro a few years ago, Synchro Westie, to a lady. We did a ton of work to it, tried to make sure it was totally bulletproof for her. And, I had never had any issues with it conking out. The owner that had it drove it here 4 hours, and we drove it around and around and around while it was here. Never had any problems. She got all the way out to South Dakota and called me and said it started conking out. And, of course, it was the ECU. I had to send to her real fast. Sent her a rebuilt one, popped it in there, boom. That was all that it was. And so, yeah, if you can pick one up cheap from, like a used thing, somebody on the Samba selling something used, or if you just want to buy proactively again, now you're being proactive, you're buying a rebuilt one that we sell $250. I mean, really, guys, I will give that a lifetime warranty. Okay, you heard it here first on the channel. Lifetime warranty. I've been selling these for 15 years. I have never had one have a problem. Okay, the guy that builds them for me, he is a Vanagon enthusiast guy. He builds them in his spare time. He goes through it. He knows all the problems. He fixes all the problems, puts in some new components, and then he puts it into a Vanagon and drives it. Okay, and make sure that it actually performs properly and stuff. I mean, he's very meticulous, and that's why I can take one, just like I did this week, and ship it to a guy in the UK. And he messaged me this morning, guess what? I got my ECU, and now my van's running great again. Thanks so much. I'm going to send you the old one back. I'm like, I didn't have a worry about it because I knew that what the guy does is great. Okay, so in 15 years, I had one person send me their old one back and said it stopped working after like a year, I think. And I'm pretty sure that it actually was still fine. I think he had a problem with his wiring harness and it like fried something inside of it or something like that. So, yep, ECUs can be an issue. Now, the earlier ones, 1.9s, they're pretty bulletproof. Again, anything with 30 years of age on it, I mean, you could get a spare one, I guess, just in case. But they hold up really well.
Heck, he's just said 91, so I guess
Yeah,
that's
91.
his year.
Yeah, I would have a spare or have it just proactively replace it. Because that's what I'm doing now. Like any bands that we sell or anything like that, I'm going to be replacing the ECU with a rebuilt one. The Hall sensor in the distributor with a new one. Just so, again, I got a baseline. And I know that I had another van. We had this van for years, drove it all over the place. And got to getting ready to sell it. I told my wife, let's go for one more drive. We're going to go down to Cape May, which is about an hour from here. We drove all the way down there. And right when we got down there, it started like, it's trying to like stutter, like doing like that. I'm like, that's weird. It's never did that. So then we get ready to come back. And as we're driving back, I mean, it drove like maybe 15 minutes. It started going, it like cutting off. And the tach would go, boom, go down to nothing, and boom, come back up. Then we'd drive a little bit longer, go boom, down to nothing, boom, back up. Like, what in the world is this crazy thing doing? And as I drove, it just got worse and worse. Like, it even got to the point where it was like, boom, 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 boom. It was going on and off and driving me crazy. And we got almost all the way home, and finally it just totally conked out. So I called my dad. He came over and towed me like another 4 miles back to the house. And it was the Hall Center unit in the distributor. It had just, decided that it was time to come and see the world, come out and see the world. And so I gave it its wish. I changed it out with a new one. It was time to retire. So I retired it to the trash can. And so now, like I said, if I sell a van, I'm going to be putting a rebuilt ECM, rebuilt distributor, because I just don't like that junk. That's really the two things that control ignition besides the coil in the later ones.
Heck, that's good advice. Thanks.
All right, man. I know that was super long-winded, so appreciate the going along with that. All right, so I'm trying to think if there's anything else to talk about here today. Like I said, really, I got some nice notes from you guys on the 4th, and so I definitely appreciate that. I don't know. I'm starting to send out my newsletter. I just started this thing, MailChimp. Okay, it's not actually like a mail chimp or anything. it's a male, like MAIL. So don't get excited if somebody was expecting like an actual male chimpanzee to show up at your house. It's more like a male email chimp. And so what it is like my email thing. When you buy something or you register through us in our website, vanagain.com, you should have a little box at the bottom. You can check it. You'll get on our mailing list. And then we're going to possibly be sending out coupons that way. We're possibly going to be just telling you guys about new items that we get in the store. Now, I do have actually 3 of the 1.9 distributors here. I know Billy wants one of them if he can scrape together some ducats for that. But I still have 2 more of those left. If anybody's interested, you know, we got them from Europe, and I don't know how many more we're going to get. So I think the price on them is $350, I believe. And but if you want one of those, you can send me an email, and I will tell you how to buy it. Okay, they're brand new. They're from Volkswagen, and they're just so pretty. Everything's brand new on them. Brand new everything.
Paul Keller was saying, just got my order a couple weeks ago. Great service and great parts.
Okay. Yeah, we try to get stuff done quick too. I know there's another website, not going to be naming who it is, that has a big banner at the top of their thing. We have lots of orders, so we can't ship out for like many, many days. Like it might be a week before we ship out. Like, okay, that's all that it is this time of year. Like, that's why I exist, because there's lots of orders right now. And if I couldn't handle it, I would have to hire more people. I mean, I am hiring this lady over here, so that's hopefully she's going to start on Monday. That's my daughter, Liz. She's going to help me out, okay? So you might be talking to her. Don't get scared, okay? She's not in China. She's here in the United States or India. She speaks English good. Speaks English good. And she will take your orders or whatever.
Just be patient, because I know zero about any and all.
She's going to be, she's becoming a Padawan.
I just listen to what he says and be like, all right.
She's going to become a Padawan learner, so she has to wear that little stupid braid thing down the back of her neck. But, you know, she's going to be learning, and then I can do more stuff. Okay, I've been doing a lot of research on new parts I want to do. My latest idea, I don't know if I want to say it. I'm trying to think. All right, I might say it. I want to do a backup camera with a road camera. So in other words, it's recording everything. It's recording you going down the road. Okay, a dash cam, that's what they call it. So it's a dash cam, but it's also a backup camera. And I'm going to I actually have my eye on one already that I'm going to purchase, set it up in a Vanagon, make sure it works properly, and then we're going to start selling it to people, because, you know, backing up in a Vanagon, as you guys know, is a pain. It has a pretty big blind spot, especially some of you guys out there that has the Westies that's packed out to the gills. You can't even see out the back window. And with that cabinet, it messes up your mirror and everything. So backup camera is great. And then a dash cam is also great, because if anything weird happens on the road, it's recording it, and then they can't blame it on you. Okay, so, or I guess if you are at fault, you can just pull this little chip out and then throw it out the window real fast, and then you're fine. Okay, so I'll be doing that, and that actually shouldn't be that expensive or hard to put in, and I'm going to be working on that in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully we'll get that, a video on that you guys can see, and then decide if you want it. Okay, it would be a good addition to your van, definitely. I'll tell you another sad story, dash cam story. One of my customers called me. He said, I need a nose for my van, like the front nose section. I said, I have one here. You have to come and cut it off of this van and stuff. He's like, I said, what? And he said, I need a windshield. I said, well, you can get that from, you know, Safely Auto Glass and stuff. And I said, what's going on? He's like, I was driving through Atlantic City, I think. Okay, it was some town here in New Jersey. I was driving through, and I saw a homeless man on the side of the road. And he said, I saw him. He looked at me, looked into my eyes. I looked into his eyes, and I could tell something. He was thinking about something. And he's like, the 1 second before you know, I knew what was happening. He stepped out in front of the van on purpose to kill himself. Okay. And so the guy's like, I had no time to step on the brakes. I had no time to do anything. I hit this guy. He hit the front of the van, broke the grill, broke the light on one side, broke the windshield, put a big, like a human indentation onto the nose of the van. And, you know, he killed himself. It was death by Vanagon. And, you know, the bad part is, if this guy's going to kill himself, why involve this random person who, you know, didn't do him any harm? He was just happened to be driving by at that moment. Yeah, and the guy was traumatized by this. I mean, I could definitely understand that. So, you know, that was kind of a messed up story. But I guess if you had that dash cam and anybody questioned it, like, did you hit him on purpose or whatever, you can say, no, look, you can see he was looking right at me, stared at me, then he stepped out, boom, and now he's gone. And, you know, that way you don't get in trouble, because who knows, police are crazy. Okay. Police are, and we'll talk about that one time too, but I'm not going down the police, but they do like to pull over Vanagon owners, profiling, right? Be woke, Vanagon owners, be woke.
People keep asking me if I have ever gotten pulled over because I'm so short. And, like, apparently even in my car, which I have a 2001 Volkswagen Beetle, like, yeah, it's a small car and stuff, but even you in it look really small. I'm only 4'8".
She's like, listen.
Yes, because I drive like this. I can see over the steering wheel, guys. But yeah, like my coworkers and stuff.
It looks like
mess around.
It looks like a kid, like a Knight Rider Beetle driving around. Like, yeah. It's like kids trying to find Michael.
Beetle. But no, they're like, how do the cops not pull you over thinking you're a kid driving around in a car? And I'm just like, I don't know.
Yep. All right, so got any more comments on there?
Minsk Maid says dash cams are on almost every vehicle in Russia.
Yeah, in Russia, man, it's a thing. And I'll tell you why. Because the popo over there is crooked as a snake. And when they pull you over, it ain't about nothing. It's about, where's my, give me some of this right here. You see what I'm saying? And so if you have a dash cam, it kind of discourages that. When they see you have a dash cam, you know, they kind of get honest all of a sudden. They don't want to get recorded, like asking for bribes and stuff. So in Russia, that's why everybody has dash cams. And that's why there's whenever you watch these videos about crazy crashes and stuff, most of the time it's from Russia, dash cam videos. Mm-hmm. Or when they had those asteroids or meteorites coming in and blowing up and making all kinds of noise, like 99% of them was from dash cams in Russia.
I've seen those videos before.
Yeah.
Or road rage videos.
Road rage, it's all in Russian, man. It's all in Russian because they all have dash cams. But it's because the police are so crooked over there. That's sad to say.
Inorganic is saying, when I do the fuel line replacement, should I do anything to the fuel injectors, clean them, etc.?
Yeah, it's a good time to do that if you want. We sell new ones. I think they're $75 each. They're aftermarket. Bosch stopped making them. Okay. There's another place that I can recommend called Witch Hunter Performance, and you can Google search them. They will clean your injectors and test them for like $35 each, so that's pretty good. It's about half the price of a new one. Or maybe check with your local Napa. I know a lot of those actually have a machine shop, and they will have a ultrasonic cleaner. And the nice part is, you know, they test them ahead of time, and then they'll make you like a little flow chart. It'll show you what the things were flowing before they were cleaned and what they were flowing after. So yeah, it's a good time to definitely take the injectors out. Sometimes the bodies are kind of rusty. You can clean them up and have them, you know, flushed out or whatever, ultrasonically clean, put them back, and then you kind of feel like they're back to ground zero. I mean, the only thing about the new ones is, like here in the Northeast, like I said, the bodies of them just like turn all super rusty and stuff. So buying new ones sometimes is a better way to go if they're rough looking. But yep, good point. Organic, inorganic.
2 times inorganic.
2 times inorganics.
Super inorganic.
Inorganic squared. Nailed it. Okay. Anything else?
No.
All right, we're running out of time here. So I hope you enjoyed the show. And I know lots of you are watching on Saturday morning instead of watching Transformers and G.I. Joe, you're watching this, and I definitely appreciate that. I hope, you're learning is half the battle. So, and people that live in the 90s know what I'm talking about. Or in the 80s, I'm sorry. So definitely like this video, thumbs up. Last week, you guys super thumbs up, and YouTube sent me a message. Your last thing got more thumbs up than anything. Some people thumbs down, okay? That is perfectly fine with me, but if you're going to do that, tell me why. Why? Why thumbs down? Why?
Constructive criticism.
Constructive criticism. Don't just like, hey, Ken Wilber's got a stupid blue hat on. Thumbs down. Okay? That's, you can do that, but I would rather have constructive criticism, okay? So please thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you hated its guts forever, thumbs down, but tell me why. And definitely subscribe if you're not subscribed. Make sure you got your notifications turned on, because like 4 people just came on or at the very end for some weird reason. So turn your notification on so that we're on and we're live. It will tell you, and you can join us. Okay. And like I said, next week if you call, you will be possibly talking to this person. So much more prettier than me. But that's the burden that she has to bear. All right, guys, have a great weekend. Hope you are getting more smiles per gallon with your Vanagon. And definitely check out Vanagon.com and order some parts this week if you need them. All right, guys, peace out and have a great weekend. Thanks.